News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. Holiday travel comes early, with the TSA yesterday screening the highest number of passengers since the start of the pandemic. This morning, WWJ reporter Charlie Langton is at Detroit's airport.
Crowds jammed Detroit's metro airport.
It's crazy.
Even online, pre-checked bags didn't help Catherine Rhodes from Oak Park, Michigan.
I thought by checking them in online that it would give me a heads up, but no.
And not many passengers have masks this Memorial Day weekend, but are you worried, Nicole from mid-Michigan?
I drive 77 kids on a 77 passenger bus. Trust me, germs are my thing.
Safe travels. Charlie Langton for CBS News, Detroit.
If you're traveling by car, here's some good news.
That means over the Memorial Day 4-day weekend, Americans are going to be spending $1.6 billion less on gasoline compared to last year.
He's Patrick DeHaan with GasBuddy.com. Overall, prices are going up, as consumer spending. A key index shows U.S. prices rose 0.4% from March till April. That's much higher than the 0.1% increase the previous month. Measured year over year, prices were up 4.1% last month from 4.2% in March, while spending jumped 0.8% from March to April. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are up 50 points. The S&P 500 futures are up just over 6 points. Negotiators are said to be closing in on a deal to raise the nation's debt ceiling by the June 1st deadline. Republican Chip Roy of Texas is concerned the spending cuts won't go far enough.
You're talking about raising the debt ceiling a significant amount of money. We got to get significant, changes in return.
Proposals include capping federal spending for 2 years. Ukraine says one person is dead after Russia hit a medical facility. CBS News correspondent Elaine Cobb has the latest on that conflict.
One person was killed and more than 20 injured in what Ukraine said was a Russian missile attack on a medical facility in Dnipro. Russia in turn blamed Ukraine for dozens of strikes on its southern Belgorod region. Moscow has summoned U.S. diplomats to its foreign ministry to protest what it called unacceptable remarks by White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan about strikes on Russian territory. Elaine Cobb, CBS News.
Pope Francis has not received any audiences today. The Vatican says he has a fever. A spokesman did not provide any further details on the health of the 86-year-old pontiff. And citing health reasons, Celine Dion has canceled all shows scheduled for 2023 through 2024. This is CBS News.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
We're proud to make Pioneer Sugar for you and your family. Proud to be found in your kitchen, the heart of your home. And it doesn't really matter what you make with Pioneer Sugar, whether it's with our granulated white, light brown, or soft confectioners. It's the memories you'll make using it that will matter the most. Pioneer Sugar, pure and all natural, made from sugar beets grown right here. What could be sweeter than that?
Paid actor, not a real customer. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 44-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Welcome to Ethos, a new kind of insurance company that believes life insurance should be hassle-free, affordable, and accessible for everyone.
For around $1 a day, I got a 20-year, $250,000 term life insurance policy without a medical exam. All I had to do was answer a few health questions and snap, family protected. It was quick and easy. Ethos is 100% online. I got a quote in seconds, applied in minutes, and got coverage in hours. Just answer a few health questions. No medical exam, no blood tests, no hassle. Look, nobody wants to plan for the unthinkable, but it would be so much worse to not plan at all. So don't put it off. It feels great having the peace of mind knowing that my family is protected.
Ethos, the 100% online hassle-free way to get affordable life insurance. Don't wait. Get your free online quote now at ethoslife.com. That's ethoslife.com.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
From the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
Sunny skies and 51 degrees at 9:05. Good morning, I'm Jonathan Dent. A crash in Saginaw last night left one woman dead and two other people injured. According to the Saginaw Police Department, 34-year-old Ida Murchison crashed her 2008 Mercedes sedan into some trees and a basketball hoop at a house on Mershon Street around 10 o'clock p.m. Authorities say Murchison was pronounced dead at the scene. Two other occupants, a 38-year-old male and 33-year-old female, also suffered injuries and were taken to a local hospital for treatment, where police say the man is listed in critical condition. Investigators believe speed and alcohol were factors in the crash. A Bay City vascular surgeon who pleaded guilty to healthcare fraud last year has been sentenced to 80 months in prison and ordered to pay over $60 million. The Department of Justice says Vaso Gadiali was sentenced on May 3rd after admitting to causing more than $14 million in damages to the federal government and defrauding Medicare, Medicaid, and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan of $19.5 million. Beginning in 2009, Gadiali began billing health insurance providers for procedures like thrombectomies and vascular stent placements that he never performed. The DOJ says Gadiali provided false medical documents to justify those billings. In addition to paying back the money he fraudulently gained, Gadiali was ordered to pay up to $43.4 million to resolve civil allegations due to violations of the False Claims Act. Nearly $40 million of that will be covered by money seized from his accounts in a civil forfeiture case. Results of a feasibility study meant to guide the spending of $2 million in American Rescue Plan Act money in Saginaw has concluded. The study looked for ways to best address the city's food desert problem. Anna Colby with Public Policy Associates says the study found supporting a nonprofit grocery more feasible for the city when compared to a member-owned food co-op or privately owned for-profit store.
In this report, we're focusing on a member-based, but not member-owned, so different than the co-op charitable grocery store model. So specifically the food club model that has momentum here in Saginaw, where families with low income pay a monthly fee and receive points with which to purchase food.
Colby says they spoke with community stakeholders and experts in grocery retail and found that there's already a local organization interested in starting a food club, as well as partners willing to support it. She says, while a food club would be the most feasible to start in Saginaw, the long-term feasibility of that kind of establishment is still unknown. WSGW News Time coming up on 9:08.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Crane. There's a reason why Crane's L&M Appliance Center has been serving this area since 1956. It's customer satisfaction. Want knowledgeable support and the best brand at the best possible price? New, scratch and dent, or refurbished? We have them. For a limited time, we have rebates on LG appliances, Hot Point Laundry, Frigidaire, Sea Queen, and GE, and special no-interest financing. See us today in Saginaw, 3260 Bay Road, and in Carroll, 1556 West Carroll Road. At Crane's L&M Appliance, we want to earn your business.
RocketGrabPlus.com. Why would you pay full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out all of our deals going on right now. From Bell's Barkery and Boutique, The Bearded Axe, Applied Training Solutions, Mid-Michigan Garage Door, PJ's Pizzeria in Pinconning, JV's Market in Munger, Branham's Jewelry, and so many more. And they're all half off. Snag your deal right now at RocketGrabPlus.com. RocketGrabPlus.com.
WSGW News Time is 9:09. Tesla is going to open up its charging stations to owners of Ford electric vehicles starting next year. Michigan News Network's AutoBeat reporter Jeff Gilbert.
This gives Ford owners far more charging options and means more income for Tesla. But Tesla CEO Elon Musk says it's about more than money.
We don't want the Tesla Supercharger network to be like a walled garden. We want it to be something that is supportive of electrification.
Current Ford EVs will require an adapter. Future Ford electric vehicles will be built with Tesla-style charging ports. Jeff Gilbert, the Michigan News Network.
Are you getting the grill ready this holiday weekend? Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan registered dietitian Shanti Apollo says making sure you're preparing meat safely.
When you're thawing meat, it's so important to do that in the fridge and not at room temperature. What happens at room temperature is those temperatures really invite rapidly growing bacteria that can then make us sick.
Abele says there are 48 million cases of foodborne illness in the U.S. every year. To be healthy, she recommends grilling lean chicken and salmon. There are some good recipes at ahealthiermichigan.org. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. Here's WNEM First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
Friday has a high of 70 degrees with sunny skies, a northeast wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then tonight, clear skies, a low of 42. Just quiet conditions overall with a calm wind. On Saturday, 76, mostly sunny with a northeast wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Again, and we'll hold that same wind speed all the way through the holiday weekend. Sunday, a few more high clouds, so partly to mostly sunny, a high of 78. Then Memorial Day itself on Monday, still looking fantastic, mostly sunny and 82. Just with all the dry weather recently, there is a little bit of an elevated fire risk through this weekend. So just if you'll be doing any fireworks, possibly having a campfire or doing any grilling, just be sure to have a bucket of water or a hose nearby. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
It is 53 degrees at WSGW.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions. From around your block to around the world, The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center.
Yes, indeed. Westside Decorating Center, located at 5789 State Street in Saginaw, with their newly expanded showroom and expanded product lines, including countertops. Now, you can get everything you need for home decorating at Westside Decorating Center. And we are broadcasting today, this Memorial Day weekend gateway, at our usual haunt. And we are at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center for their big Memorial Day weekend sale. We'll tell you all about that. Later on, Tom Trombley is going to join us from the Castle Museum to talk about jazz on Jefferson. And at 11 o'clock this morning on Focus, Mindy McIntosh will be along to talk about retirement planning. But for this hour, if you happen to be looking on stream, you'll see both of us. I'm the good-looking one without the mustache, and the other guy sitting next to me is the one and only Ernie Krieger.
Oh, is it my turn? I was trying to respect my elder. Now that you're 80.
That's fine.
But you don't
proud
look
of
80.
it.
Yes.
That's right.
You resemble
Don't look
it
a
well.
day over 79 and a half.
You know what I'm enjoying?
No, what are you enjoying?
I'm sitting back. I don't have to lean into a microphone. Because
Oh, well, that's
you've
right.
got
We
me-
have the headphones. Yeah,
that's
the
right.
headsets.
Matching bookends.
That's right.
But then I look at all the colors. And I think we've been coming here 40 plus years.
Oh,
Is it
yeah, I think so.
a long time?
It's been a long, long time.
Yeah, you had hair and mine
Yeah.
was dark.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
And I'm happy to be here.
And to our audience, if you have any questions about appliances that aren't functioning or functioning well, Ernie can either point you in the right direction on getting them healthy or turn you into boat anchors, one or the other.
And you know, we always start off, especially this time of the year, talking about air conditioners and dehumidifiers.
Yes.
And so we're going to have some warm weather coming out.
Yep.
And I want people to pay attention to two things. One is there's a filter on the front of that air conditioner
Yep.
that needs to be coming out.
Just washed mine the other day.
Good. And the other thing that I've found, especially with the few units that we've already had come in for cleaning, it isn't so much the condensers that are plugged up with cottonwood. It's the inside housings that the air is blowing back into the room. It's made out of a white styrofoam.
Okay.
And I'm seeing a lot of mold and mildew that I've not seen in the past. And
That wouldn't be good.
No, and it's pretty gnarly. So when you take the front of that air conditioner off and you look in there and you see all that black crud, you need to get that out of there.
Yeah.
And what I found that works best, I mean, you can do the bleach and water. I feel like I'm advertising now for a company, but there is a product out there called 30 Seconds. And if you can find it, and it's usually at a hardware store, you're going to mix it 50-50, get a spray bottle, get in there and spray everything down. And then with an older cloth, maybe an old towel, get in there and wipe it out real well. because that stuff's not really good for you to be blown back into the room.
Yeah, I imagine that's true. Let's talk about how to safely clean an air conditioner.
Well, when we say safely, you're not going to use a power wash to get in there.
Yeah.
Because the fins that are on those condensers are really pretty thin. And if you start bending those over, you're going to restrict your airflow. You're going to be in the same boat you were before you cleaned it.
Which wouldn't be good.
No. In some cases, you do have to disassemble them. You just can't take the hose and spray into the coil and think you've got them clean enough. In most cases, we'll use some type of a chemical, a commercial cleaner that'll get in there and eat that cottonwood off. And you have to remember the cottonwood's on the backside of the coil. So when you're looking at your air conditioner from the outside, those coils are going to look clean. It's what's on the inside.
Yeah, the
where all
stuff
that
you don't see, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And so what happens is the unit won't get as cold as it's used to, and it'll start drawing a little bit more power because it's going to try to get that temperature down to that, let's say, 15-degree cooler air. So on most air conditioners, when you're checking out to see whether or not they're working properly, you're going to measure the temperature of the air going into the evaporator and then what's blowing into the room. And you should usually see about a 10-degree drop in temperature. That'll tell you the unit's working as efficiently as it's going to.
10-degree between the air going out and the air coming in, is that
correct? And you want to make sure the evaporator is moist. Two things the air conditioner does is it takes out heat and it pulls out moisture. And of course, the filter that's in front of that evaporator is going to help, minimize the amount of crud that blows back into the room.
Yeah. And is it difficult to do? Is it difficult to, pull that case apart, for example?
In some cases, depends on the age. You got these screws that are in there that get all corroded. Sometimes they don't want to come out like they should. In the old days, I used to say it could be a 2 or 3 or 4 beer job.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the old days.
I remember the old days. Yes, indeed.
Now that I'm much older,
yes,
I still kind of refer to it, but I would say to do a job properly, you're going to have at least an hour into it, getting it all torn apart and then putting it all back together.
Yeah.
And the sad thing is, when you go out looking for another air conditioner in case yours isn't working quite right, the sizes have changed.
Are they really?
Yes. So
it's
not a standard. The people that have had holes put into their wall, to put that air conditioner in, and now that thing's 10 years old.
So and when they go to replace it,
they're either going to have to make that hole larger or come up with a way of downsizing that hole to fit the same BTU air conditioner.
No kidding.
Yeah, things never
Why
stay
have they
constant.
done that?
Well, it's just a sign of the times.
It's a sign of the times. It was
Yes.
a song, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it was.
It was. Petula Clark, I think.
I
Maybe.
think so.
Could have
Yes.
been. See, I remember those things.
Mhm.
So let's just for a minute, let's go back and talk about these fins.
Yes.
Because you really don't want to bend them over, do you?
No, you don't want to restrict your airflow at all. That's what the cottonwood does. So if you're in there and you have too much pressure, whether it be from a hose or you trying to get in there to clean them with, let's say, a brush, as you fold those over, you start to restrict that airflow. The unit's not going to run as efficient as it should. And the same thing with a dehumidifier. Those are a little easier to get at, but you want to make sure, they're usually in a basement and there's a lot of junk that's in the air. Those coils will plug up on you. The nice thing on most newer dehumidifiers is they will have a filter in front of the coils, so it'll collect a lot of the hair if you have pets or dust that's in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't think your homes are clean, just one time stop your fan from circulating and look at the blades on that fan. You'll
I'd
be
rather
blown
not.
away at
Yeah,
how much stuff's
I'd
on
rather
those
not.
blades.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'd rather not. All right. If you have any questions about major appliance repairs, you give us a call, 989-752-6111, and chat with Ernie Krieger. He can answer your questions for you and point you in the right direction, hopefully, to get your problem solved.
Yep.
Again, 989-752-6111. Major appliance questions for Ernie Krieger from Ernie Krieger Appliance Service and Parts. We are broadcasting today at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center. And, of course, they are on Wadsworth here in Saginaw. And they're open today till 6, tomorrow 8 to 6, Sunday 9 to 5, Memorial Day 9 to 5. And beginning tomorrow, Memorial Day weekend specials tomorrow. The annual geranium sale, 8 a.m. to noon, tomorrow only. 4.5-inch geraniums, only $4.79, regularly $5.99. 6-inch stock geraniums, only $10.79, regularly $12.99. You must be in line to check out by noon to get those specials. And also something they have done every year, come support local military families. They're taking monetary donations all weekend. All proceeds go directly to local military families through the I Support the 1% Veteran Food Pantry. If you're not familiar with the I Support the 1%, please visit supportthe1%.com and the number 1, supportthe1%.com. Help support this great local organizations. And tomorrow and Sunday, there'll be hot dogs and drinks from 11 to 2. Proceeds, again, going to the I Support the 1%. Great weekend to decorate your yard and decks. Enjoy the beauty all summer long here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth in Saginaw. Shop their spacious indoor garden center. It's beautiful, comfortable inside, whatever the weather is outside. Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center. We will be back.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The latest reading on inflation indicates there was no progress in lowering prices in April. The core PCE index, Personal Consumption Expenditures Index, came in stronger than expected at 4.7% in the year ending in April. The overall PCE reading for the year ending in April was 4.4%, higher than March. Though the inflation reading is down sharply from the peak of 7% last June, it's still far from the Fed's inflation target, which is 2%. Consumers were spending last month, though. Spending increased 0.8% from March to April. Big Lots shares are losing ground after a disappointing quarter, and Gap expects to improve its bottom line after it opens more stores this year, though Gap has been seeing weaker sales. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jenny Cosola, invested in you.
Millions are making the switch to Newsmax. After Tucker Carlson's firing, the Eric Bolling Show went up over 200% in the ratings. Tonight, watch Newsmax's powerful lineup of Greta Van Susteren, Rob Schmidt, Eric Bolling, and Chris Plant. At 8 p.m. Eastern, Eric Bolling reveals the big fight between DeSantis and Trump. Newsmax is now America's fastest-growing cable news channel. Download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone. Start watching anytime. Make the switch today to Newsmax.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
When they're investigating, we can't stop watching. This month on BritBox, sit back,
Relax and enjoy watching The Detectives. Discover Britain's most bingeable mysteries, including the brand new season of Grace, the hit series based on the books by best-selling author Peter James. Unwind with The Detectives you could watch all night long. Stream them all now exclusively on BritBox. Endlessly intriguing. Start your free trial at BritBox.com.
Oh, we were so busy talking to people around here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center, we forgot we're supposed to work.
I hate that.
I just, work gets in the way of everything, doesn't it?
You
All
got
right,
it.
let's go to the phones here. Jim is in Wheeler to start us out. Jim, good morning.
Yes, I just called to see about we're getting a back. I'm hearing myself talk twice.
Oh, wait. Make sure that his telephone button isn't pushed, Matt. Make sure his button is not on telephone. Okay? Try it again.
There. All right. I just called to see about maintenance on a central air unit.
Yep.
We've had it for about 4 years now, and we haven't done anything with it. I don't know what to do about it.
Well, what I would do with the central air, you got a condenser unit that sits outside. And on that unit, you should be able to take your garden hose with a minimal amount of pressure and just wash down the condenser itself. On your unit, the cottonwood that's going to accumulate is going to be on the outside of the condenser, so you don't have to tear anything apart. And you want to make sure if the shrubs or whatever plants are around that condenser, they're not restricting the airflow. So that'll take care of that outside unit.
Okay.
And then in the house, of course, you want
Could
to
I
make sure.
just take
I'm sorry?
Could I take a 5-gallon pail of water and just dump over it?
I'd rather have you use a hose, because what that does then is you'll be able to start at the top of the coils and then work that cottonwood down to the very bottom. I don't know that the bucket of water is going
I can do this without taking the frame off?
Yes. Yeah, you'll see the coils that we're talking about.
Okay.
And then inside the house where your furnace is, you want to make sure you're changing that filter at least twice a year. At the beginning of the air conditioning system.
I do that all. Yeah.
Awesome. And that should put you in good shape.
3 months.
Yep. That'll put you in great shape going into the
All right.
summer.
Well, thanks, guys.
Hey, all right, Jim. Thanks for calling.
Appreciate it.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Yep. Well, thank you guys. Bye now.
Bye-bye. And let's talk to Kate in Bay City. Kate, good morning to you. Morning, Kate.
Good morning.
Hi there.
I have a question. Good morning.
What can we do?
I have a question on the LG. I bought a new LG refrigerator in December.
Okay.
And it's got an outside water dispenser.
Yep.
And there's like powder coming from the back of the cup where the dispenser is. What's causing that?
It's the calcium that we have in our water. What happens is whatever drips of water or maybe some of the flakes from ice that accumulates there, and after it dries, you're left with some of the residuals from what was in that water. What you may want to do, you can use sometimes maybe a little mixture of vinegar and water to wipe that stuff out. Sometimes one of those Mr. Clean sponge type cleaners will clean that out for you. It's just one of the unusual things that we have with the water that we drink.
Just the minerals, right?
Yes, it's minerals.
Okay, so there's nothing I need repaired.
No. It just, if you don't do it on a regular basis, it'll accumulate and then it'll make it a little harder for you to clean.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Have a good morning,
Kate. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
We don't think about that. Any place where there's been water and it dries, it's going to leave deposits, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, let's talk for a little bit about Bounce fabric softener sheets and those kinds of fabric sheets. I can say that. Those kinds of sheets in the laundry. I've heard you say so many times you really need to wash the filter. When I take my filter out, I pull it out of the top. I get rid of all of the material in it. I clean it.
Yep.
I blow through it with my breath and it blows fine. And it doesn't seem to be restricted. Is it? Am I not?
What I want you to do is take that filter over to the sink.
I know what you want me to do.
But if you just put that filter under the water
Yeah.
and turn it off, and you see all that water accumulate on top of that screen,
Okay.
it's restricting. And a dryer needs good airflow. And if you don't have the airflow, what it'll do is it'll start cycling off the main burner or the heating element. And sometimes it'll even cause you to end up with the need for service because the dryer won't run. Or let's just say it'll run longer than it needs to. So, especially with dryer sheets, as those dryer sheets are tumbling, the chemicals from that dryer sheet is mixing with the clothes, and that air goes through that filter and it accumulates on the mesh screen. So I would say maybe once a month. It's not
often.
It's not a bad practice. If you want your dryer to run efficiently, I would say, especially if that's what you use as dryer sheets, to wash it off with some good hot water with whatever detergent you're using at the sink.
Yeah, because with the passing of my wife, I have new skills now.
Oh, no, you have a new appreciation.
You got that right.
For
Boy,
what?
you got that right.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
indeed.
It doesn't get done unless you do it
That's
now.
it. That's it. Yeah, I plan to vacuum. So, it is
the
different.
Things you learn.
Yeah, you do. And I mentioned this right after her passing. Guys, listen, come to appreciate what your wife does because you just don't realize how much she does. And it's amazing.
Yes, it is.
So laundry machines and I have become very good friends. Very good friends.
Yeah, and you don't mix your clothes.
Nope. Oh, I learned that a long time ago. That I learned.
So you have orange and red underwear now, right?
No. I'm in good shape that way. I knew that.
Good.
Lines open for you. If you have any questions about major appliances, give Ernie a call, 989-752-6111 as we broadcast from Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center. I have to keep Ernie as busy as I can so his wife can go and shop as much as she can.
And she's doing that well. And our oldest daughter is here too. And her husband's out in the car wondering why she hasn't come back yet.
Yeah. Good luck.
It's our annual trek to Abele's.
It is. It's been years. We were talking about that before. It's been 40 years?
Probably. At least.
Anyhow. All right. So appliances, microwaves.
Yes.
I didn't tell you this. My microwave died.
The one, your
DCS?
big. Oh yeah. What happened?
All of a sudden, all it would do was turn on, but it wouldn't make anything hot.
Oh, probably got a bad door switch.
No.
Where'd you
Check
find
that? It's something in
the board,
in the tube or something. But it was. I didn't take it apart and look. I mean, that was it. And it was. I mean, when I got it, I don't know how long I've been sitting at Art's place, and it was old, so it was time.
It's never time.
Yeah, it was time.
So what did you do?
Got something different.
And what did you do with the old one?
I put it out on the curb and it was gone in 5 minutes. Somebody got a microwave and they want to fix it. More power to them.
Funny you did that because I think you know somebody that knows how to fix those things.
I do.
And in most cases, when it does get fixed, it's at a discounted rate.
I haven't noticed that. That part I haven't noticed.
Arthur.
So I just I decided it was time.
And so what did you get?
It had been around a long time. I mean, I'd had that
probably 10 years.
Oh, at least. And it was older than that. So it was a good unit. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, it was commercial grade.
But it finally just kind of gave up the ghost and wouldn't heat anything. So, yeah. Anyhow,
a phone call would have probably said, "Yeah, let's get a look at it," and probably $40, $50 later, it would have been fixed. But at 80, you finally had a chance of. Well, you couldn't use communion money because you're not of that religious.
Yeah, we'll take a break, folks, and then we'll be back. Let me take a moment here To tell you about my car dealer, McDonald Ford M47 in Freeland, where we've bought many, many cars over the years, and I've known the McDonald family for
my gosh,
since the day I got here. I think
you and
in
Tom were
1974.
good buddies.
Yep. But they are now buying cars. That's right. They want to buy cars, and they want to buy yours. If you're selling your vehicle, it's an easy process. Contact Joe at McDonaldFord.com. Tell him you want to sell your car. He will tell you all the things you need. It's pretty easy, really. You need 7 photos of your car: front, rear, left and right sides, car's interior, dashboard showing vehicle mileage, and a photo of your title showing the VIN number. And what's going to happen after you submit all that is they're going to give you an offer. You decide if you want the offer. If you do, payment is right now on the spot. That includes all the paperwork and the lien release. So don't wait. Put cash in your pocket today, and tell your friends and family, too, if they got a car they want to sell. There's a way to get money in your pocket. Contact Joe at McDonaldFord.com. Joe at McDonaldFord.com. And stop in and visit them. They can tell you more about it. McDonald Ford, 6790 Midland Road in Freeland, devoted to helping and serving you.
Wow.
We will take a break and be back with more.
Uncover up to $100,000 of riches in the Pyramid of Cash. Fridays and Saturdays in May, walk like an Egyptian into Saganing Eagles Landing for drawings 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Lucky players every hour get the chance to climb to the top of the pyramid and win up to $100 grand. It's Pyramid of Cash, only at Saganing Eagles Landing Casino and Hotel. Real fun, real friendly. Visit saganing-eagleslanding.com for complete rules and details.
Now at Menards, save big money in your next project with 11% off everything. When your work demands the highest structural integrity, choose Spax Engineered Fasteners. We carry multi-purpose screws, hour leg screws, and other fastening solutions for whatever project comes your way. Pick up a 50-count box of Spax exterior leg screws for just $16.99 after 11% off at Menards. Good through May 29th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Detroit area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Offices in Troy and Ann Arbor. CordellCordell.com.
Maxwell, he was scratching and losing some hair. My vet, she says, oh, he must be allergic to chicken. Another vet said, eat the grain. Third vet said, it's the weather. Then somebody said, DINOVITE.com. It took 2 weeks, and the dog stopped itching. The hair stopped falling out. The Dinovite is a big part of Maxwell's diet.
Get some Dinovite, how happy your dog will be.
DINOVITE.com.
The WSGW Morning Team.
The WSGW online poll for you. A little lighter poll for some fun. Detroit sports teams and the playoffs. Since 1958, when the Pistons joined the Tigers, Lions, and Red Wings as part of the 4 major Detroit sports teams, the longest playoff drought, when none of the teams made the playoffs, was a 3-year stretch from 1979 to 1981. That stretch is now in danger of being extended, as no Detroit team has made the playoffs the last 3 years, 2020 through 2022. So the WSGW poll question for you is, what Detroit sports team do you think will be the first in the playoffs since the Pistons did it last in 2019? In alphabetical order, will it be the Lions, the Pistons, the Red Wings, or the Tigers? Make your prediction with your vote. You head to WSGW.com, scroll down the homepage, and find the poll box and make your vote that way.
Your Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. Broadcasting from the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Showroom and Design Center Studios. This is WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth. Memorial Day weekend sale going on.
Yes, beautiful weather.
And yeah, I guess what I was going to say, the weather is just perfect for that this year. Absolutely perfect. If you have any questions about major appliances, now's the time. Ernie Krieger's sitting here and can help you. I want to go back to washing machines for a minute. I've heard your commercial talk about how to rinse out a machine that may have collected soap crud over the years. What do you do, and why do you do it?
Well, if most people had the ability to see what's trapped in the outer tub, they'd
not want to use the machine anymore.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, a lot of people don't use hot water anymore, and so you don't get a chance to flush all the.
Aren't you supposed to use hot water?
Well,
Oops.
according to the government, they don't.
Well, they're not doing my laundry.
That's right. That's right. You want clean shorts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what I would tell you, the easy way, because most people have vinegar and most people have bleach, I would tell you to start your washer up with a full load. And when I say full load, I want your maximum amount of water that you can put in the machine. And I want you to put it on hot. And what you're going to do is you're going to...
With or without, no clothes.
No
right?
clothes.
Yeah, okay.
No clothes. So and what makes it different on some machines is you don't always have the ability to open the lid once it starts. And that makes it tough. Because normally you would start it off with a full hot tub of water and a cup of bleach. And you're going to let it go through the agitation. You're going to let it go through the spin out. And then when it does that, then I want you to stop the machine and go back to the beginning. And this time you're going to put a cup of vinegar in it and then let it run through the full cycle. So bleach the first time, spin it out, fill it up the second time with vinegar, and then let it go through its cycle. Now, if you want to go a little bit more elaborate, there's a product out there called Whirl Out. And with Whirl Out, it's granular, and you're going to use about a half a cup of it. And you're going to put it in the machine, again with a hot wash, and you're going to let it go through its cycle. And again, that's without clothes. And that should freshen it up. And in most cases, if you're not using your washer and it's in an area where you don't care whether people see it or not, you want to make sure you leave those lids open. On a front load washer, for sure, the door should always be open.
Oh, really?
Yes. You still have moisture that sits inside these tubs. And so like a Petri dish, things are going to grow.
Yeah.
And that's where your odors come from. So whenever you can leave that lid open to help get that moisture evaporated out of there, that's the best way to go.
All right, so let's talk about top load machines today. Some still have the agitator. Some don't.
That's right. They have a wash plate in the bottom.
And so which one gets your clothes cleaner?
Agitator.
I thought so.
Yeah. Yeah. And part of the problem with these new high efficiency washers that minimize the amount of water you get, if you're putting sheets in there, I've seen it where the center of the sheets actually never get a full load of water exposed to them, which is pretty sad. I'm not a fond person when it comes to washers without agitators. I'm still old school.
My late wife, when we bought the last machine we have now, she said, we're going to go over to the Maytag store. We're going to buy a machine with an agitator.
Mm-hmm.
We're not buying the most expensive machine in the place. We're not going to buy the cheapest machine in the place, but we are getting a top loader with an agitator. Yes, dear.
That's right. And the sad thing is, and you've heard me say this before, the lifespan on the stuff that we buy today, whether you're spending $600 or $2,000, still 7 to 10 years. And the other sad note on it, I talked to lots of people, and their products are running about 7 to 10 years, and they need a control board. Oh, sorry, ma'am. The board's no longer available.
Yeah. Well, what I like about the machine is that it's simple.
We like simple.
You want hot water, warm water, cold water,
mm-hmm.
light load, heavy load, medium load, type of material, push the button.
There you go.
That's good for me.
Yes.
Works like a charm. It's simple. I like it simple.
Yes. But it still has control boards in it. Back in the day.
I imagine it does.
Yeah.
I think everything does. Even purely mechanical ones probably have some kind of electronics in them.
Yep.
It's scary today, the electronics that are
the world has
everything.
changed.
Yeah. All right. I heard. Well, let's see
Got a
here.
little tweet.
Like, who we have here? I see Mark. No, wait a minute. No, I gonna have to go up here and see who it is because I only see it on one computer. So just a second here. Looks like Don in Gladwin is up next. Don, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi there. What can we do for you?
I have, if I can get two questions in on two different appliances.
Sure.
My wife says the dryer vent, there's about goes out to the outside where the dryer vent, it's vented outside.
Sure.
And she says that's plugging up and it's taking too long to dry.
Okay.
To close. What is the best way to clean that vent out?
So
Or the
is your
tube,
vent
like
like
3 or 4 inches.
is the vent kind of like a corrugated tube? What, or is it
No,
hard,
it's
rigid metal?
solid.
Solid metal?
It's the metal solid stuff.
Okay. And you kind of broke up when you were telling me how long the run is when it comes out of the back of the dryer. How many feet would you say it is?
I would guess about 30 feet.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
Well, in the old days, what you could have done, and what I've done when we've had issues with dryers, is I'd actually start the dryer up, and believe it or not, I would take a garden hose, and I would go from the outside up into the vent tube, moving that dryer hose as the unit's running. Now, mind you, you're going to get blasted with lots of lint and crud, dried up soap. But that's one way of doing it. The other way
When you
that
take that garden hose, you're not running water.
No,
You're
just
shoving a hose through,
that's
acting
right.
like a
agitate all the stuff,
Yeah.
and then because the dryer's running, it's
That's
going
a
to
good
blow.
it's
point.
almost agitating like a snake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's one way of doing it. The other way, which is going to be a lot more difficult, would be to actually physically take all those tubes apart and clean it. Yep.
Yeah.
They do make different devices that you
Okay.
can buy that looks like a big bristle that has a long extension on it that you can
All right.
run through the tube too. Or you
And-
can call a company and have them come out and clean it.
And quickly, what's the other question?
Refrigerators.
Yes.
In the wintertime, when I've got a refrigerator that sits outside in a storage like garage,
Okay.
and it doesn't. And when it's cold outside, it's not heated.
Yep.
In the winter, it defrosts. It's got there'll be a puddle of water in the bottom.
Sure.
The freezer's not working, and is that normal?
In the wintertime, yes. Because what happens to us, those units are designed to run in ambient temperatures of above 60 degrees. Anything lower than that in the winter, it doesn't know what to do. So the freezer actually starts to run warm and stuff will melt and things in the
Yeah.
refrigerator will actually freeze on you.
All right. There you go. All right.
All
Don.
right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye now. Mark and Bob, hang on. We'll get to you in just a moment here on the Art Lewis Show.
Memorial Weekend is filled with parades, memorials, and picnics, and of course, a trip to the local garden center. Stop in this weekend at Maple Hill Nursery and Garden Center in Midland for all your gardening and outdoor living needs. New plant material has been arriving daily and is at its prime for spring planting. Choose from thousands of trees, shrubs, and perennials, as well as hanging baskets and patio pots. Our garden center has the latest in outdoor furniture from Alfresco Home and Pollywood. Choose from a large assortment of both dining and deep seating with free delivery and setup on all orders. Need a new grill? We carry the complete line of Weber grills and accessories. Maple Hill Nursery and Garden Center, located 1.5 miles north of the Midland Mall on Eastman Road next to DW Auto in Midland. Memorial Weekend hours, Friday 8 to 5:30, Saturday 8 to 4, Sunday noon to 4, and Memorial Day 8 to 2. Visit us on the web at www.maplehillmidland.com or like us on Facebook.
At SimpliSafe, we know during a break-in, every second counts. So our home security system is powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from SimpliSafe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install SimpliSafe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
The WSGW Morning Team.
The resignation from adulthood. I have decided I would like to accept the responsibilities of an 8-year-old again. I want to go to McDonald's and think that it's a 4-star restaurant. I want to sail sticks across a fresh mud puddle. I want to think M&Ms are better than money because you can eat them. I want to return to a time when life was simple and all you knew were colors, nursery rhymes. That didn't bother you because you didn't know what you didn't know and you didn't care. I want to think the world was fair, that everyone is honest and good. I want to be oblivious to the complexities of life and be overly excited by the little things again. So, I am officially resigning from adulthood. And if you want to discuss this further, you'll have to catch me first because tag, you're it.
Your Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth and Saginaw, chatting with Ernie Krieger from Ernie Krieger Appliance Service and Parts. And next up is, looks like Mark in Saginaw. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. Good morning, Ernie. How are you guys doing?
Excellent. Good. Excellent. What's going on?
Good. Hey, I have a Kenmore Elite gas range.
Yep.
It's a dual oven. It's upper and lower.
Yep.
Now, when I put the preheat on for the upper, let's say I want to go 400 degrees, it'll take about 25 minutes to hit that. The lower one, maybe 10 minutes. So I can't figure out what's going on with that upper.
What it's
why it takes so long to preheat.
Is it gas or electric?
Gas.
So your issue may be an oven igniter. The igniter may not be getting enough amperage to get the main valve to come on. So it's possible that igniter is what's giving you your issue. That's what I'd be checking first.
Okay.
What usually happens...
Okay, it does...
Go ahead.
It does preheat, but it just takes long. So maybe the igniter is taking longer to get it going, is what you're thinking?
What happens is the igniter's got to draw a certain amount of amperage to get that safety valve to open. So if you have the ability to pull the floor up, that exposes the main burner and that igniter. When you turn that oven on, that igniter should almost be glowing pure white. If the igniter is like an orangish red, it's not drawing the amperage that it should, and that's why that valve's not coming on. And that's what I'd be looking at.
Okay.
All right.
But if it does, the oven does work. So does that mean it's just intermittent problem? Because the oven does come on at the, yeah. Okay.
It can be.
All right, we'll take a look at that.
Great. Very good.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
You have a great day.
Bye-bye.
And next up is Bob in Bay City. Bob, good morning.
Morning, Art. Morning, Ernie.
Good morning. What can we do for you?
Well, you were talking about lifespans of appliances. How long should my dehumidifier last? I'm getting a collection of them.
If you get 2 to 3 years out of your dehumidifier, you're doing well, and that's pretty sad to say. What I would tell most people is when you go shopping, if somebody's goofy enough to offer you a 5-year warranty on the dehumidifier, and it's a third of what you're paying for the dehumidifier, because most of them are running between $200 and $300, I jump at it. And then there are some brands that will offer you from the factory a 5-year warranty. And that would be for the sealed system, which is what most of the problems are with these dehumidifiers. They develop a leak. Again, that's what I would tell you to look at. But yeah, 2 to 3 years is what we're seeing.
Oh.
And that's what I'm seeing too. I just I remember my
like
parents had one for about 20 years back in the old days, but
That's when they made them to last. All right, buddy. You have a great weekend.
Right.
And next,
too. Bye-bye.
Yep, bye-bye now. And we have another Bob. We have Bob in Frankenmuth waiting for us this morning. Bob, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Got a question on microwaves.
Sure.
Once in a while, when we're heating stuff up in the microwave, it'll kind of like bang. And we don't know if it's the dish that we're using, or the wife thinks that it has to do with this rotating plate that's in the bottom of the microwave.
What brand is
centered.
it? What brand is it, Bob?
It's KitchenAid.
Okay.
KitchenAid.
So it's Whirlpool built. It is possible that there could be an issue with the actual motor that drives that turntable. So that's, and how old is the unit?
Little over a year.
And does it seem like when she's putting in a larger bowl that you get that noise, or it doesn't matter? It could be just a cup of water.
It doesn't matter. It could be just a cup.
Yeah, it could be the drive motor, the little turntable motor that moves a little cog that drives that dish that's causing that problem.
Yeah, because if it seems like if that plate is not centered on there good, that's where it happens more frequently than if it's centered just right.
She's
that plate, whether it's wobbling a little bit.
Okay. The other possibility, you have a plastic ring that glass sits on that rotates. It's possible there could be an issue with one of the rollers. That glass is sitting on.
That would be easy to check.
Yeah.
Yeah, come out. Yeah.
You can lift that right out.
And what would I be looking for on those rollers?
Flat spots. So you look at they're plastic. You're just going to rotate it with your finger and see if there's a spot on it.
Yep. And with that, we're going to have to go because time is up.
Thank you.
Yep.
You
And if you
bet.
still have questions, of course, you can call me at the shop.
There you go. And
Okay.
what would that number be?
793-3711-989, of course.
There you go. Ernie, as always.
Hey, thank you. Happy holiday.
Yep, indeed. Ernie Krieger from Ernie Krieger Appliance Service and Parts on Bay Road in Saginaw. Memorial Day, we find ourselves where we always do on Memorial Day weekend. Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth. They also are here supporting the I Support the 1% Veteran Food Pantry. You can make a donation. Tomorrow, they will have hot dogs and drinks on sale from 11 to 2, both Saturday and Sunday. Proceeds going to the Veterans Pantry. You can decorate graves of your loved ones for Memorial Day. They have ready-made pots or everything you need to pot your own. It's a great time to plant your flower beds and gardens. Put in a little time now to enjoy all the great tasting food you grew yourself. Never tastes better than what comes out of your own garden. Hundreds of potted trees and shrubs, as well as ball and burlap trees. You can plant a tree now and enjoy the shade later. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Today they're open till 6. Tomorrow 8 to 6. Sunday 9 to 5. Memorial Day 9 to 5. Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth in Saginaw.
Tired of driving all over town just to find your favorite bottle of beer, wine, or liquor? Then look no further than Ideal Party Store in Bay City. Ideal Party Store has been making you the life of the party since 1934 with over 1,000 varieties of beer, hard to find spirits, and that perfect bottle of wine for any occasion. With locations on Johnson Street and Salzburg Avenue, both locations are equipped with supplies for any occasion. Put an end to your search and visit us at Ideal Party Store in Bay City on Johnson Street and Salzburg Avenue.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is from Cottage Inn Pizza in Saginaw. You will get half off of a family meal deal. That includes a large one-topping pizza, a large specialty pizza, one large cheesy bread, and a 2-liter of pop. It's normally $50, but you can get this deal right now for just $25. This is only valid at the Cottage Inn Pizza on Bay Road in Saginaw. Make sure you head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
All right, that'll do it for this hour of the Art Lewis Show on this Friday from Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center. By the way, we'll be here tomorrow, too, from 8 to 11 doing reports. Looking forward to that. Stick around now for the news from CBS and the local report. And then we're going to talk to Tom Trombley from the Castle Museum in Saginaw and Jazz on Jefferson. That is what's coming up next.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW-FM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. The Drug Enforcement Administration has stripped one of the nation's largest pharmaceutical distributors of its license to sell opioids. CBS's Allison Keyes has the story.
The DEA says Morris and Dixon Co. can't sell the highly addictive painkillers anymore, saying it didn't flag thousands of suspicious orders amid the opioid crisis. This days after an Associated Press probe found that the DEA allowed the company to keep shipping the drugs, even after a judge accused it of a cavalier disregard of rules aimed at preventing opioid abuse.
The summer travel season is now officially underway this Memorial Day holiday weekend. Here's CBS's Jim Krasula.
AAA predicts a record number of Americans, more than 42 million, will be on the nation's highways and byways this Memorial Day weekend. Here along I-85 in Salisbury, North Carolina, Andrew Bryce told me he feels driving is more stressful than ever.
I have to always dodge different things on the road, and I pray that the roads become more safe so people can drive and no one lose their life.
Much of the long holiday weekend will be a washout across much of the southeast as a slow-moving coastal storm spins just offshore.
Meanwhile, the TSA says yesterday it screened the highest number of airline passengers since the start of the pandemic. A passenger was arrested as soon as his Asiana Airlines flight touched down safely in the South Korean city of Daegu. The passenger cracked open the emergency cabin door just minutes before the Airbus A321 landed. Fellow passengers tried to stop him, but he managed to partially open the door anyway. He was arrested on suspicion of violating aviation security laws. Why he did it, we still don't know. Closing in on a deal to raise the debt ceiling. Here's House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
It's not easy. We want to make sure this is an agreement worthy of the American people, so it takes a while to make it happen.
The deadline to reach a deal is June 1st. Indianapolis Dr. Caitlin Bernard has been fined $3,000 for violating patient privacy laws after she spoke out about performing an abortion on a 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio. During the trial, Dr. Bernard explained why she talked about this particular case.
I think that it's incredibly important for people to understand the real-world impacts of the laws of this country.
Indiana's medical licensing board wanted her medical license suspended. Killer whales are being increasingly aggressive off Spain and Portugal.
Marine experts in Spain say young killer whales took to attacking sailing vessels 3 years ago, but they don't know why. In the latest of dozens of attacks this year off the coasts of Spain and Portugal, a sailboat had to be towed to safety after a group of orcas broke the rudder and pierced the hull.
That's CBS's Elaine Cobb.
Find your next great hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Indeed.com/credit.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Why would you pay full price when you know that you can save money at RocketGrabPlus.com? Check out all of our deals going on right now. From Bell's Barkery and Boutique, The Bearded Axe, Applied Training Solutions, Mid-Michigan Garage Door, PJ's Pizzeria in Pinconning, JB's Market in Munger, Branham's Jewelry, and so many more. And they're all half off. Snag your deal right now at RocketGrabPlus.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
Jesse Kelly here. I'm not a financial expert, but I do look for solid investment opportunities for investment growth and protection against loss. I do know that putting all your eggs in one basket is not a good financial plan. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver with Oxford Gold is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Or you can buy precious metals and keep them in your safe. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe a news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Live from the 100.5 and 790 newsroom, this is WSGW News.
58 degrees and sunny skies at 10:05. Good morning, I'm Jonathan Dent. A fire heavily damaged a home in Saginaw Wednesday night. Fire crews were dispatched to a residence on Hermansaw Road shortly before 10:30 p.m. and found smoke and fire coming from the rear of the home. The family who lived in the home had made it out safely, though one of them was taken to the hospital with possible smoke inhalation. Investigators say it appears that the fire started in a utility room and heavily damaged the ground floor before spreading to the rear of the home and the attic. Officials say because of the extent of the damage, the house is unlivable. Community projects funded through the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, are underway in Saginaw. During the May 22nd City Council meeting, Guidehouse consultant David Cernick gave an update on the status of various projects.
These are organizations we're still working on finishing this agreement. MAC, Hoyt Park, Big Brothers Big Sisters. We have agreements signed with the NABE, First Ward, Women of Colors, public libraries, and we've actually got projects basically up and running with Yearn, CAC, Boys and Girls, and Houghton Jones.
Cernick says that over the next few months, consultants and city staff will be monitoring organizations as they receive funds to ensure that they're being spent properly, and that the results of that monitoring will be presented at another update in July. Any funds that aren't spent within ARPA restrictions may be subject to clawbacks, and according to Cernick, the city would be free to reallocate those funds to other organizations before the 2026 spending deadline. $1 million in federal funding is heading to Bay City to help demolish and clean up blighted property. Congressman Dan Kildee announced the allocation, which he says will help remove public health risks, reduce crime, and strengthen neighborhoods throughout the city. The allocation comes from a $1.5 billion investment in the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's brownfield programs through the bipartisan infrastructure law. Kildee says the funds will be focused on cleaning up blighted properties and abandoned properties in the Midland Street Business District, as well as locations on Bay City's east side, including a former Dow chemical site and former Surratt's scrapyard. WSGW News Time, 10:07.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Crane. There's a reason why Crane's L&M Appliance Center has been serving this area since 1956. It's customer satisfaction. Want knowledgeable support and the best brand at the best possible price? New, scratch and dent, or refurbished? We have them. For a limited time, we have rebates on LG appliances, Hot Point Laundry, Frigidaire, Sea Queen, and GE, and special no-interest financing. See us today in Saginaw, 3260 Bay Road, and in Carroll, 1556 West Carroll Road. At Crane's L&M Appliance, we want to earn your business.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by tuning into Mindy and Nolan McIntosh of McIntosh & Associates every Sunday at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Make retirement the best time of your life. Tune in Sundays at noon for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
WSGW News Time is 10:08. The Michigan Attorney General's office has filed a motion for summary judgment against the company in charge of the Edenville Dam at the time of its failure. In the motion, the AG's office claims Boyce Hydro knew the east embankment of the dam could fail if Wixom Lake's water level rose too high 10 years prior to its catastrophic failure in 2020. The document also says the man in charge of Boyce Hydro, Lee Mueller, regularly neglected dam safety priorities, instead focusing on making the dam a location for recreational activities. The AG's office says if the motion is granted, it would place the blame for the dam failure on Boyce Hydro, and any funds remaining in the company's estate would go to those who lost homes and businesses in the ensuing flood. Take the diploma with the left hand, shake with the right. That's what graduating high schoolers across the country are being reminded as they prepare to walk across the stage. In Saginaw County, many of those students who have achieved academic excellence were recognized last night as valedictorians and salutatorians for their classes. MLive reports that at high school's graduation ceremony, Luke Zakarik was recognized as valedictorian with a GPA of .03 ahead of co-salutatorians Anderson Lee and Landon Wagner. Hemlock High School also recognized valedictorian Ella Wardlow and salutatorian Alec Briggs last night. Finally, in Carleton, Emily Dupuis was given top honors, with Johnny Aguilar achieving salutatorian status in his graduating class. When you see news happening, call the WSGW newsroom at 752-0790. Now with the weather, here's WNEM First Alert meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
Friday has a high of 70 degrees with sunny skies, a northeast wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then tonight, clear skies, a low of 42. Just quiet conditions overall with a calm wind. On Saturday, 76, mostly sunny with a northeast wind at 5 to 10 miles per hour again. And we'll hold that same wind speed all the way through the holiday weekend. Sunday, a few more high clouds, so partly to mostly sunny, a high of 78. The Memorial Day itself on Monday still looking fantastic, mostly sunny and 82. Just with all the dry weather recently, there is a little bit of an elevated fire risk through this weekend. So just if you'll be doing any fireworks, possibly having a campfire or doing any grilling, just be sure to have a bucket of water or a hose nearby. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matthew Mondro.
And right now we have 58 degrees here at WSGW. And it is time to continue with the Art Lewis Show from Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center.
Now, the only local radio talk show offering you the chance to ask your questions and express your opinions from around your block to around the world. The Art Lewis Show is on 100.5 and 790 WSGW and online, WSGW.com. The Art Lewis Show is presented by Westside Decorating Center.
And a good morning to you. Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Art Lewis Show, coming to you from Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center here on Wadsworth in Saginaw. Coming up next week is an annual event in Saginaw that draws an awful lot of people downtown because it's one of the most, probably one of the most favorite events happening in the city. It's called Jazz on Jefferson. And here to talk about it with us from the Castle Museum, the Saginaw Historical Society, we say good morning to Tom Trombley.
Good morning, Art.
Good morning. Well, thanks for being with us, first of all. Thanks for coming out.
Well, thank you for having me.
Jazz on Jefferson. How many years now?
Gosh, I can't take my shoes off. I think we're at 17. We seem 17 and 19. We lost, of course, 2 years for the pandemic, but it's always the second Wednesday after Memorial Day. And so that makes it June 7th this year.
And how did it get its start? What was the genesis of it?
It really is a partnership. At the time, Neighborhood Renewal Services, which was working extensively in the Cathedral District.
Which you were involved in heavily.
I was, along with many other people. We had a South Jefferson Avenue improvement project. And one of the things we wanted to do was promote South Jefferson Avenue and really build on the vitality which was there, which were a number of stable institutions and some pivotal homeowners. So we came up with the idea of doing an event that really showcased the neighborhood and showcased the architecture and heritage and really the resources in the area. So we came up with Jazz on Jefferson.
And the jazz part, there's music everywhere, isn't there?
There's music everywhere. We take a very liberal, open view towards jazz. We always try to have some jazz acts, but we also have other ones. And, you know, it's really a celebration of place is what we call it. It's not a street festival. The street is closed, but it is really about walking around, but going into churches, the museum, the library, Kingdom Life Ministries, First Congregational Church, the Cathedral, and other participants, and really just exploring just a perfect way to to celebrate an urban city night. And of course, we'll have absolutely perfect weather, just like we have right here.
Yeah, of course. And you have been involved in that region, I mean, ever since I've known you, and that goes back decades.
Yeah, it seems ever since I've known myself.
Yeah. So how has that corridor, that Jefferson Avenue corridor, changed over the years that you've been involved with it?
Well, it has, all of the lawns are mowed, which is a good sign. And there has been really a number of houses taken over. The institutions, almost all of the institutions have undertaken major projects. Some of them really don't look different before than after, other than stuff. The library just put on a new roof a couple years ago and did extensive stonework. You really, if you look at a photograph, you really can't see the difference, but that's the whole point of it. The cathedral did a major renovation. We continue doing it. Homeowners paint, and everybody just does what needs to be done.
I always kind of chuckled a little bit because in that corridor, you have, of course, the Castle Museum and its wonderful architecture. You have the library with its wonderful architecture. You have all of those homes with their great architecture. And you have the Jacobson's building, the square box that sits there in the middle, you know?
It is an example of late mid-century modern. I saw a house in the Times this morning advertises that, and it does have a certain charm. I mean, it's a time and place, and the current owners, SSP Associates, are doing a lot of work on it and have a tenant in it, and so we feel really good about that. And it's good to have neighbors, and so it's really that diversity. We have everything from buildings from the 1860s through the late 1970s, and we have two complementing. The Castle Building, Hoyt Library. We have a couple of Alden B. Dow buildings. We have the house he designed in the mid-1930s for his aunt, Mary Dow, who was a retired librarian. And then we have what is now the Wolverine Baptist Center, which was originally Saginaw's YWCA.
Now, during the Jazz on Jefferson on June 7th, and it runs from 4:45 in the afternoon till 8 o'clock, how many of those homes and structures can you actually go in?
Well, all of the public ones, the homes are private homes. So there won't, as far as I know right now, there won't be homes open there, but there definitely the public buildings, churches will be open. And sometimes there are surprises that things open up, but don't expect homes to be open.
The biggest surprise for me going down to Jazz on Jefferson was coming upon that home that has that huge garden in the back of it, fenced-in garden. I didn't even know that existed, and walking around in there, and it's pretty good size.
It is.
You know the one I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, it really is. And
that's private, isn't it?
That is private. And it really is a private commitment to rebuilding the city that I think is Rick Rios's that you commented on, and it really is. The Hill House, the owners continue to work on it, and it's like all cities, it's a work in progress, and things move along, and it's just really fun to explore the outside. We'll be offering a couple of chances to really experience the architecture. One of the things we're going to do is offer a walking tour. I think it's at 7 o'clock, but you'll have people can pick up a schedule, and it'll focus on the Goodrich Brothers photographs of the buildings of South Jefferson Avenue and events in South Jefferson Avenue. It's the 160th anniversary of the opening of the Goodrich Brothers studio.
Is the museum open during this time?
It is certainly open, and we'll have a sneak preview soft opening for our new summer exhibit, which is an in-house exhibit. It's called Growing Saginaw County. Growing Saginaw County. And
you can say it. Come on.
I am great at Growing Saginaw County, and it's agriculture and enterprise. And it really focuses on farming, but also that moment when the crops leave the field and how the next step, and you forget the mills that were created in the 19th century into the 20th century, flour mills, beans. Why did Saginaw have the largest bean elevator in the world at one time? Sugar beets. How did we come to get sugar beets in this area? And then we're going to have a section on the prairie farm too, which sometimes we forget, just this vast area that was claimed from the marshes.
Yeah. All right. It's all happening. Jazz on Jefferson. We'll talk more about it. June 7th, though. Mark it down on your calendars, 4:45 p.m. to 8 p.m. And did we mention, by the way, it's free.
Except for the food.
Except for the food, but it's free. And I got to ask this question. Will there be strawberry shortcake?
Would it be Jazz on Jefferson?
No.
We will definitely have strawberry shortcake.
All right. We'll be back with Tom Trombley in just a couple of moments here on the Art Lewis Show. Memorial Day weekend finds us where we always are Memorial Day weekend, here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth. And their Memorial Day weekend specials begin tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, tomorrow only. 4.5-inch geraniums, only $4.75, regularly $5.99. 6-inch stock geraniums, only $10.79, regularly $12.99. You must be in line to check out by noon to get those deals. Also here, you can support the local military families through the I Support the 1% Veteran Food Pantry. They are taking monetary donations all weekend, and the proceeds will go to the I Support the 1% Veteran Food Family. If you're not familiar with it, you can go online to visit that is supportthe1%.com. Supportthe1%.com. Use the number 1 before the word percent and help support this great local organization. Also tomorrow, hot dogs and drinks on sale, 11 to 2. Proceeds, again, going to the I Support the 1%. What a weekend to decorate your yards and decks so you can enjoy the beauty all summer. And don't forget those graves that you might want to decorate. They already have ready-made pots or everything you need to pot your own. Today till 6, tomorrow 8 to 6, Sunday 9 to 5, Memorial Day 9 to 5. Here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth in Saginaw.
Maytag month has got it going on. It's all you want with the savings all month long. Baby, can't you see? Maytag month is all you need. You know you can't go wrong when Maytag month is going on.
Upgrade to the performance you need on all Maytag major appliances during May is Maytag month, happening all month long.
Maytag month is going on.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
I'm Neil Cavuto, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks open higher, though the latest reading on inflation indicates the Federal Reserve may need to raise interest rates again. The core PCE inflation reading rose 4.7% in the year ending in April. The reading was higher than March and also higher than forecast. NVIDIA shares opened flat after its rally yesterday on demand for chips used in artificial intelligence. Big Lots shares are down more than 11%. The discount retailer had a disappointing quarter and suspended its dividend. Tesla and Ford have an arrangement that will allow Ford's electric vehicle owners to charge at Tesla superchargers. Ford shares have opened up 2% and Tesla shares opened modestly higher. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Jesse Kelly here. I'm not a financial expert, but I do look for solid investment opportunities for investment growth and protection against loss. I do know that putting all your eggs in one basket is not a good financial plan. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver with Oxford Gold is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Or you can buy precious metals and keep them in your safe. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
The WSGW Morning Team.
The WSGW online poll for you. A little lighter poll for some fun. Detroit sports teams and the playoffs. Since 1958, when the Pistons joined the Tigers, Lions, and Red Wings as part of the four major Detroit sports teams, the longest playoff drought, when none of the teams made the playoffs, was a 3-year stretch from 1979 to 1981. That stretch is now in danger of being extended, as no Detroit team has made the playoffs the last 3 years, 2020 through 2022. So the WSGW poll question for you is, what Detroit sports team do you think will be the first in the playoffs since the Pistons did it last in 2019? In alphabetical order, will it be the Lions, the Pistons, the Red Wings, or the Tigers? Make your prediction with your vote. You head to WSGW.com, scroll down the homepage, and find the poll box and make your vote that way.
Your Morning Team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW.
And we're back here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center on Wadsworth. Their big Memorial Day weekend sale going on. With me is Tom Trombley from the Castle Museum and many other things that he has done throughout his career in helping to revitalize structures and things that we've come to enjoy in Saginaw. So, Tom, I have a question for you.
I don't answer questions before 11.
Oh, yeah. I posed this question in an address I gave. With the demise and certainly the shrinking of newspapers, it used to be, if I wanted to know something about the city of Saginaw that happened on May 20th, 2022, 1922, I'd go to the library, sit down at the microfiche machines, and I could look it up, and it would be there. Because the newspapers really were the history keepers of what happened in a community. Who's doing that today?
Well, I think we all are, and I think in a way it's going to be a problem.
That's my question.
Then that is.
I know how to do it for the past, but 50 years from now, how are people going to look back and say, well, gee, what happened on Memorial Day in 2023?
That is going to be a question. And I mean, it also verifying what actually did happen may be more difficult. Even when, and I use newspapers every day, historic newspapers.
Right, yeah.
No, I don't sit at my desk all day and read the paper. Yes, I do.
Yes,
but it is that really I
job.
do. But it's also interesting how when you use newspapers, you need to still look at the next day, because it's possible to end up with a different story than when you start out. We have the Saginaw News Archives, and I also use an online database from the accesses the local papers. So it is really a challenge, and it's probably one that is not unique to our time. And it also, one of the things that always that challenges me, or that I always long to find, the first newspaper published in Saginaw, I think it's I won't say the name so I don't get it wrong, but it was published in 1837. But what is really interesting, there's only one issue of it that survives, even though it claimed, and I'm certain it was made basically as a promotional piece, so that they could send it back east and say this little village actually does have a newspaper, and they were very proud to say where it was printed in the city. And I imagine lining some early 19th century trunk in New England, or in New York State, there's copies of it. I always think
probably.
No, how history is preserved, and that really goes back to Jazz on Jefferson.
Well, somebody told me, well, there's social media, and I went, no, that's unreliable. I mean, you know,
it's unreliable, and I would caution people to always check the source, just as you
that's the
would.
thing, if you can.
I'm doing a piece at the Historical Society of Michigan Fall Conference called "It's a Wonderful Story. Too bad it isn't true."
I love it,
because it is really amazing how many stories. And I mean, wish I could say I never had fallen prey to one, but there are some I have.
Well, I think everybody has at one time or another. But it always concerned me. I mean, and I brought it up during that speech just to get people thinking about it, because, you know, years from now, if somebody wants to go back and find the history, they're not going to have the same tools we had to be able to do it.
That's right. And some of it just vanishes.
And it just, exactly right. It just vanishes. Another question. You guys were working on a dig at a property that had burned. What was that house?
The house was on the corner. It was in just on Jefferson Avenue, just south of St. Mary's Hospital. And the dig is completed. We have an exhibit in the basement. We had a special exhibit after, but it really was a home that was destroyed by fire on May 20th, 1893, in a 3.5 hour period. Over 250 homes were destroyed.
Oh, that was the big fire. Yeah.
That was the Great Fire. And the newspaper, and there's a case where the newspaper coverage really, one of the very poignant things we were able to find was how the newspapers described people left with little more than the clothing on their back, and from the mountain.
Don't change.
No. And then the other thing that was really interesting, the newspapers had made it so clear how quickly the city rebuilt, but actually what we discovered through that was confirmed that it actually was a very slow process, because the Saginaw between 1890 and 1900 would lose 10% of its population. And so there wasn't a demand for housing, and it took until Saginaw became an industrial center that the vacant lots were filled in.
Yeah. So let me ask this. You do that dig, and I was downstairs when they were sorting through it little pieces by little pieces. What do you learn from that?
Well, I'm not an archaeologist, but what we learn in all the departments that all of our curatorial staff and all of our associates at the museum learn from things is really, it's a window into the past, that it may look like a broken piece of china, but when you start looking at this shard of china and you start looking, it tells you more about what people owned, what they had. There were things that we found that talked about memberships in organizations. There were things that really gave glimpses into their personal lives and what they owned, and the structure itself, which we have no photo of.
And I was just going to ask that, because that you're going back to 93. Goodrich boys were around, weren't they?
Yeah.
But did they take any photos of this property? Were there photos
not of
the
that
home?
one. No, we have photos of the adjoining house after the fire, not before the fire. So we have some bird's eye views, which are hand-drawn sketches of the city that give us an idea. We have maps that give an idea. But these are all things we'll use in our interpretation during Jazz on Jefferson when we talk on Jefferson Avenue. And the area where Jazz on Jefferson is held was just south of where the fire was brought, of Hoyt Street, where the fire was brought under control. But at one time with the fire, they thought it was their best chance for getting it under control would be Genesee. So it really, when you stand there on, especially each May 23rd, I try to kind of think of what it would have been like to be on Jefferson Avenue, even on those areas that people were probably vacating. And we know a spark fell into Hoyt Library and started a small fire that was quickly extinguished and didn't do any damage. But it's really amazing.
Yep, and that's the kind of thing we're not going to know how to find 50 years from now. It seems that way to me anyway.
And let's hope we're wrong.
Let's hope so. Yeah, well, I hope so too.
And people are creative and resourceful. And there's ways of getting information that I never would have thought.
So let me ask this. Jazz on Jefferson, of course, It's a free event to the public, but it costs some money to put it on. Sponsorships?
Sponsorship, of course, each institution takes care of what happens at that venue. So there is more than just this, but we couldn't do it without the support of an outreach grant from the Community Enrichment Commission, and also a Saginaw Celebrates summer grant, and the DDA has supported us. So those pay for the closing the street, the lead act, which is Lavelle Jackson at 7:30 in the afternoon, in the evening at First Congregational Church, and just the incidentals. But it's really a partnership, and it's a partnership between everybody.
And I know Saginaw Enrichment would thank Hemlock Semiconductor because they
yes,
support
by all means.
They support the Summer in the City program and many other things. So let's talk about the Lavelle Jackson Band. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, if you're used to coming to Jazz on Jefferson, he's performed a number of years right across from the Congregational Church at Team One Credit Union. They always have a group. And this year we decided to focus on Lavelle Jackson. And there's information on our website about his background. There will be as we come up on it, but we're really excited to have him and really in his band, and really excited to have it in the Congregational Church.
And we should point out that's also a free concert.
That is free. First come, first serve. But it's a large church, and it always seems to accommodate everyone. We've never had to turn people. I don't think we've had to turn people away.
What's the health of that church where it sits and everything?
Well, I mean, they keep moving forward, surviving, and that is really a story. In the early 70s, that church was gutted by a fire. The roof collapsed. And at that time, the membership decided that they were going to stay in the city rather than using their insurance funds to build a new church and leave the city. And so they have made a real commitment and have been, along with the other churches, really pivotal to making this event possible.
A lot of history in that building.
A lot of history. At the end of the Civil War, there were 3 major churches constructed on Jefferson Avenue. One was demolished in the early 1930s for a commercial building, but the other 2, First Congregational Church and what was Jefferson Avenue Methodist, which is now the home of Kingdom Life Ministries. Both of those were constructed right at the end of right after, in the years following the Civil War, and there were accounts how it taxed the building and fundraising abilities of this fledgling city, which was just starting to take off.
So I want to take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the industrial revolutions that have taken place in Saginaw and how this city has changed over the years. We're talking to Tom Trombley, a noted historian, vice president of the Castle Museum, and Jazz on Jefferson, June 7th. Mark it on your calendars, 4:45 to 8 p.m. It is free. You can walk up and down. You can have horse rides again, carriage rides.
We'll have carriage rides.
Carriage rides, yep. So it's a fun time. Lots of music, lots of great food available. All on Jefferson in downtown Saginaw.
And thanks to our sponsors, the carriage rides are free.
Oh, very good. We will be back.
Now at Menards, get 11% off everything and take care of all your automotive needs. Get superior engine protection with Valvoline High Mileage Motor Oil. It's a synthetic blend with Max Life technology to maximize engine life in vehicles over 75,000 miles. Right now, pick up a quart for only $3.99 after 11% off. Good through May 29th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
At SimpliSafe, we know during a break-in, every second counts. So our home security system is powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from SimpliSafe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install SimpliSafe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Paid actor, not a real customer. Quote based on the healthy, non-smoking 44-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
Welcome to Ethos, a new kind of insurance company that believes life insurance should be hassle-free, affordable, and accessible for everyone.
For around $1 a day, I got a 20-year, $250,000 term life insurance policy without a medical exam. All I had to do was answer a few health questions and snap, family protected. It was quick and easy. Ethos is 100% online. I got a quote in seconds, applied in minutes, and got coverage in hours. Just answer a few health questions. No medical exam, no blood tests, no hassle. Look, nobody wants to plan for the unthinkable, but it would be so much worse to not plan at all. So don't put it off. It feels great having the peace of mind knowing that my family is protected.
Ethos, the 100% online hassle-free way to get affordable life insurance. Don't wait. Get your free online quote now at ethoslife.com. That's ethoslife.com.
The WSGW Morning Team.
The resignation from adulthood. I have decided I would like to accept the responsibilities of an 8-year-old again. I want to go to McDonald's and think that it's a 4-star restaurant. I want to sail sticks across a fresh mud puddle. I want to think M&Ms are better than money because you can eat them. I want to return to a time when life was simple and all you knew were colors, nursery rhymes. That didn't bother you because you didn't know what you didn't know and you didn't care. I want to think the world is fair, that everyone is honest and good. I want to be oblivious to the complexities of life and be overly excited by the little things again. So, I am officially resigning from adulthood. And if you want to discuss this further, you'll have to catch me first because tag
your morning team, 5:30 to 9 on WSGW. This is the premier kitchen and bath gallery showroom and design center studios of WSGW.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW from Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center. Coming up next week, June 7th, Jazz on Jefferson. Saginaw's historic South Jefferson Avenue area. We're talking about it and more with historian and vice president of the Castle Museum, and he is Tom Cromwell. So, Tom, let's talk about the museum building. A number of years ago, it was upgraded so that you could handle Smithsonian exhibits in the main gallery. Any word on any coming in the near future?
We just had I don't have the full exhibit schedule up, and we'll come back later. But we just had, and in fact, it's leaving Saginaw today, American Farmer, which was from the Midwest Exhibition Services, which was a photographic exhibit. And this year, we're really celebrating farming, and we have our upcoming agriculture exhibit, Growing Saginaw County. And then we have also an exhibit on Centennial Farms in Saginaw County.
And tell everyone, because this question is asked all the time, when an exhibit comes in, a traveling exhibit, it's not free to you, is it?
No, traveling exhibits vary in cost, and they also vary in the requirements. So it changes with the cost of has gone up. So we try to, we have an incredibly rich collection. We like traveling exhibits, and they're definitely part of our programming, and they're really vital to our programming. But we also do a lot of in-house exhibits that focus on our own collection and very Saginaw stories. And we get a traveling exhibit, we try to tie it into with a local exhibit. That's how the Centennial Farm exhibit came about, and then it led to us developing the larger growing Saginaw County exhibit.
There was a brief hockey exhibit.
Oh, it was up for several months, and it was really
Was
wonderful.
it up that long?
Mm-hmm.
Because I went toward the end. I finally got in to see it.
Yeah.
And as I walked around, I had forgotten how many alliterations of Saginaw hockey teams there were between the Gears and the Spirit. A whole bunch of them.
My favorite object always when he comes out is Gearella. So we have the original mascot costume, and he was joined by his contemporaries.
Yeah. Well, of course, we at the Spirit all work with Gearella. Dennis Rogier.
Okay, that's right.
You had his jersey in there too.
That's correct.
Those are the days to remember, right? I mean, that's there's a lot of history there with hockey over
There
the
is.
70s.
And it really ties into Saginaw, the whole downtown area, and the efforts to revitalize and the things that happen.
So, what kind of special exhibit can you put in for the Memorial Cup when it comes to town and there's going to be thousands of people looking for something to do?
I'm not going to give any hints yet. We're talking.
Oh, we're talking. Okay.
We're still working on stuff, but we will have something in it. And the thing is, even when we don't have a special exhibit, it is special to come to the Castle Museum because there always is the building itself. I mean, every so often we get somebody who comes in late in the day from out of town, and they spend their whole time just looking at the building and not looking at the exhibits. Or if you go to, we don't have a basement, we have a lower level. If you go to the lower level,
you don't call it a basement.
It is. We tell the story, and we have a coal mine. You can't buy in coal. The story of lumbering, the story of the founding of the county, the people who had called this home for 10,000 years before that.
Industry war efforts were down there for a while. They're still there.
War efforts, and we'll have a special USO show this summer. Not an exhibit, but an event. Not a USO show, but a USO party. So, I mean, there's so many stories with Saginaw County.
That's good. And the museum's a place, I'll tell you, folks. If you haven't been there, it is a gem. The building's a gem, and what they put in it gives the gem luster.
And this is the 125th anniversary of the opening of the building.
Is that right?
Yeah. It wasn't open with a great deal of fanfare, but by our official accounts, it was open for business by July 3rd, 1898.
All right. We'll take a break, come back at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Centers, where we're broadcasting today, talking to Tom Trombley from the Historical Society of Saginaw County, the Castle Museum.
Greetings, Saginaw County veterans and families. Did you know that Saginaw now has a Veteran Service Center, and it is located in the YMCA of Saginaw? It is also the new home of the Michigan Veterans Trust Fund. The Veteran Service Office is staffed with state-accredited service officers who are ready to assist veterans and their dependents, all for potential benefits. Call the Veteran Service Center in the YMCA of Saginaw at 517-927-6692. That's 517-927-6692.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Uma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Uma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Uma?
Yep. Switching to Uma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Uma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
Jesse Kelly here. I'm not a financial expert, but I do look for solid investment opportunities for investment growth and protection against loss. I do know that putting all your eggs in one basket is not a good financial plan. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver with Oxford Gold is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Or you can buy precious metals and keep them in your safe. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
At Simply Safe, we know during a break-in, every second counts. So our home security system is powered by 24/7 professional monitoring agents who use Fast Protect technology, only from Simply Safe, to capture video evidence and verify a threat for fast police response. Now, install Simply Safe your way. Do it yourself or have an expert set it up for you with new Pro Install. Get 20% off any new system with interactive monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Hello, Miss John Gonzalez.
And I'm Amy Sherman. We've got big news.
We're back! And you can join us Sundays at 1 p.m. as we once again go behind the mitten.
We'll take you to every corner of the state, sharing the stories that make Michigan great.
Find a hidden gem or a new favorite spot that might be located right in your hometown.
We'll go above the bridge and taste our way across the state.
Join us Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 100.5 and 790 News Radio, WSGW.
Hi, this is Mike Avery. You know you can hear my Outdoor Magazine show Sunday mornings, 9 till noon on WSGW. But now there's another option. Saturday morning, 6 till 9. Tune in for the latest outdoor news and information, hunting and fishing tips, wildlife and conservation issues, even some wild game cooking. That's Outdoor Magazine now on Saturday mornings too, 6 till 9, right here on WSGW 790 AM and 100.5 FM.
All right, we're back with you on a sunny day. What a great day to do gardening. What a perfect day to do gardening. If you've got any planting in mind, where you want to be, Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center, in a few minutes we'll tell you all the good stuff going on here. We're talking to Tom Trombley from the Castle Museum and Jazz on Jefferson, which is coming up Wednesday, June 7th. Basically, it runs from where to where. When we talk about Jefferson, what's the scope of Jazz on Jefferson?
It starts at Federal. Jefferson's closed from Federal through to Thompson, and then you can turn the corner and go to the Cathedral. This year we won't have a classic and antique car show, but we have really some new wonderful things. We'll have an outdoor play or children's area, adult play area, and we'll have a couple of places where, for those of you who want to take selfies, we'll have a couple of selfie opportunities celebrating the Goodrich Brothers Studio 160th anniversary. We've recreated one of their backdrops, so you can take your own Goodrich Brothers photograph if you want.
Kidding.
Costumes are up to you.
Do we know where their building was?
Yeah.
Does it still exist?
No, their building does not, although the building that's in its place, which is houses, lofts, and First State Bank on Washington Avenue, that is called the Goodrich Brothers Lofts, the Goodrich Lofts. So it was in the 200 block of South Washington. Before that, they had been located in a building that was located where the Eddy building is located today on the corner of East Genesee and Washington, and that was destroyed in a fire in 1872, and that's when they moved further south.
How much of their work exists?
You know, that's a really good question, because we don't really know how many photographs they took. We know that they operated for almost 60 years, which is an incredible,
right?
59 years, which is an incredible.
Back then,
that's amazing.
Exceeds most life expectancies.
And so, you know, there is an incredible body of work that's preserved by several institutions. And also the family studio had started back in York, Pennsylvania. So it's a story. We've been in contact recently. We've had more connections with the Goodrich Freedom Center in York, Pennsylvania, and we're working on some changing of information and stuff, and it's really a fun story.
Do we know how they got here and why they got here?
We know.
York?
We know that the family, it was in the Civil War, the family's finances had changed, and they were moving away from York, Pennsylvania. Some members of the family went to Minnesota, some went to not Saginaw, but the city of East Saginaw. And that is, it was a place where if you're looking to start a new beginning, this is the West. And they
escaped slavery.
Well, their parents had. Their their mother had been both. Their grandparents had all been enslaved. It's a complicated story, but then William Goodrich Sr. Had was and well, no, he was indentured. His father had been, his mother had been enslaved, and his father was not. It had been. Was probably the person maybe that even owned her, and which is a terrible way to put it, and but true. But so he became an indentured servant, and then indentured to a barber. And what's really interesting, and their mother was freed, and they became entrepreneurs and amongst the wealthiest families in York, Pennsylvania, and were able to give their children very good educations. Their home is now a museum in York, Pennsylvania, and it's just really an incredible story. And they gave it's an incredible
part of Saginaw.
Yeah, important part of Saginaw, and it's an incredible story. And they also left this incredible legacy in both their story and in the photographs they left for the community. It's hard to believe that there's a city with a better photographic record than Saginaw. Even Detroit, I think you'd be hard pressed to find than Saginaw.
All right, so Jazz on Jefferson on historic South Jefferson Avenue, Wednesday, June 7th, 4:45 to 8 p.m. And of course, as you mentioned, it's free. I did ask about the strawberry shortcake. It would not be a Jazz on Jefferson without it. That's part of what the Castle Museum does. And it's going to be on the back deck there.
The strawberry shortcake. We'll have our food court in the parking lot. We're going to celebrate the 99th anniversary of the naming of Saginaw's official city flower, the peony, and that celebration will continue.
Raise your hand, folks. How many of you knew the peony was the Saginaw flower?
So we'll be celebrating that. There'll be a chance to take a selfie in the 1923 peony show, and there's entertainment up and down the street. And we just really want to encourage people to work with to visit all of the sites on Jazz and Jefferson.
I'm reading this, and it says here that Saginaw's official city flower was so designated in 1924, but you hardly ever hear of it.
But in the 1920s, it was a really interesting campaign to do it, to make it. It was the Saginaw Women's Club, which really promoted it. And some of those, the members of the Women's Club, who leaned very heavily on city council, would go on to farm the Saginaw branch of the Women's National Farm and Garden Association, who are actually supplying a couple of peonies that will be door prizes at some of the places.
Lots going on. Jazz on Jefferson. Again, June 7th, a Wednesday. It always is, 4:45 to 8 o'clock. Absolutely free. And you get to spend some time in a beautiful area of downtown Saginaw.
We really want to see you.
And the museum, what's the current exhibits now?
The current exhibit, which we'll be previewing that night, is Growing Saginaw County Agriculture and Enterprise, and Centennial Farms, and just a lot of other things.
Tom, as always, thank you much for visiting us.
And as always, thank you,
Art.
Art.
We'll do it again before August because you got some big announcements to make then, and we'll talk to you then about it.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Tom Trombley from the Castle Museum and the Saginaw Historical Society and Jazz on Jefferson. We're here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center. Their Memorial Day weekend specials begin tomorrow at 8 a.m. and run till noon tomorrow only. 4.5-inch geraniums, only $4.75, regularly $5.99. 6-inch stock geraniums, only $10.79, regularly $12.99. You must be in line to check out by noon tomorrow. The sale is noon tomorrow, 8 to noon tomorrow only. And while you're here, support the 1% Veteran Food Pantry with donations. And maybe tomorrow get a hot dog and a drink from 11 to 2. And all of that money goes to support the Support the 1%. Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center. Stop in this weekend. What a beautiful weekend to do your planting. And boy, do they have plants. And also, if you're going to decorate graves, they have ready-made pots or everything you need to pot your own for this Memorial Day. We will be back to close out right after these notes here on WSGW.
I'm Howard Mackler, founder of Innovation Refunds. You've heard me talking about the payroll tax refund for months. If you own a business, even if you've asked your CPA about this, you owe it to yourself to take another look. We provide a licensed and insured tax attorney who evaluates your company at my expense to determine eligibility. Businesses of all types can qualify, so go to getrefunds.com to potentially get a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Download the Innovation Refunds app or go to getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
RocketGrabPlus.com. This week's deal on RocketGrabPlus.com is from Cottage Inn Pizza in Saginaw. You will get half off of a family meal deal. That includes a large one-topping pizza, a large specialty pizza, one large cheesy bread, and a 2-liter of pop. It's normally $50, but you can get this deal right now for just $25. This is only valid at the Cottage Inn Pizza on Bay Road in Saginaw. Make sure you head to RocketGrabPlus.com right now to snag your deal.
RocketGrabPlus.com.
All right, that'll do it for the Art Lewis Show for this Friday. Again, we will be back here at Abele Greenhouse and Garden Center tomorrow from 8 to 11. Doing reports, telling you what's happening here. Meantime, come on out, get the flowers you need to plant on this beautiful, beautiful Memorial Day weekend. And we'll be back with Focus. We'll talk about the Macintoshes and retirement when we return.
From the Premier Kitchen and Bath Gallery Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com. I'm Steve Kathan. Tens of millions of us are on the move for the Memorial Day weekend. CBS's Jim Krasula is on I-85 in North Carolina.
A record number of Americans are hitting the road and taking to the sky this Memorial Day weekend. Tom Reynolds is heading to the North Carolina mountains.
We're headed up to Linville, North Carolina.
Reynolds is
hoping to beat the crowd a little bit.
Carolyn Kramer's throwing caution to the wind.
We don't care about the traffic. We'll just go with the flow, or we're headed and having a good time.
Rick Gilbert will be staying close to home.
We're going to go to the pool.
He'll probably have plenty of company. It's also a busy day at the nation's airports. WWJ Radio's Charlie Langdon is in Detroit.
It's crazy. Even pre-checked bags didn't help Catherine Rhodes from Oak Park, Michigan.
I thought by checking them in online,